Would be perfect. Yeah, I just asked Andrea, maybe she can't hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so
I've started
increase
recording.
Good news.
Okay, thank you.
So I may start speaking if you want.
Everyone is here. I'll just do a very quick intro. So today we have Guillaume, who is going to talk about something not computer science related, but nevertheless interesting. This is about sky and skydiving rig, if I'm correct in terminology.
Yes.
How it works, how to use it. So here we go.
Okay. Hello, and thanks for coming. First thing first, don't hesitate to interrupt me or ask any question in live, because I've not prepared much. So yeah, if you ask question, it will be interactive and interesting, and if you don't ask question, it will be boring. So in this talk, I will try to tell you what skydiving is. We'll have a good look at what is the equipment involved in skydiving, and I especially would like to show you some really nice devices which are in my skydive rig, because I think there is some stuff to learn from skydive and apply in our software engineering process, or the opposite. But and those stuff are the fact that in skydive we focus on simplicity and stuff which works, mostly because people are too stupid to use stuff which are not simple, and also because when you are falling at 200 kilometers and the floor is roughly at 10 seconds from you, you want stuff which are simple and which works. Yep. So I will alternate between screen sharing and poor camera handling. So sorry if you'd like to vomit after this talk, because it will look like that. And first of all, I want to show you an image about, so I will share the screen. Hello. And can you see the magnificent plane image? No? Yes? Can you see something?
Yes, we can see it.
Cool. Okay. So it's a plane. Yeah. It looks like a canopy. It looks like a skydiver. And we'll just discuss the force which are involved in skydiving, and mostly in everything which flies. You may know most of them. So, but the first one is the weight. Weight has this tendency to pull you down and pull you to the earth. So it's why we are falling from the plane. There is the drag. The drag is an interesting force because that's mostly the air resistance, and that's why that's the stuff which is slowing you down. So there is something really interesting is that about 12 or 15 seconds after the exit of the plane, the drag equals the weight, and we stop not falling, we continue falling, but we stop accelerating. So we reach something which is called the terminal velocity. And for me, it's approximately 200 kilometers per hour. But depending on the position, if I fly on my belly or if I fly heads down or heads up, it depends. There is lift. When I'm falling, I'm not generating a lot of lift. But when I'm under canopy, most of the force involved are the lift. And it's the stuff which allow me to get back to the floor safely. And I won't discuss much the thrust, because that's what engine gives us. And I have no engine on my canopy, so there is no thrust involved. And I wanted to discuss a bit, hello, I'm back on the camera. And I wanted to discuss a bit all the equipment except the skydiving rig. So when I'm skydiving, I have a helmet. You may have saw that one in the Tweag picture once. And my helmet is really nice because there is a NASCAR logo somewhere here. And the name of my team, which is the Skolem. I don't know why. Skolem is a really stupid name for a skydiving team. I have 3 altimeters. This one will be is on my wrist. And yep, this one is on my helmet, and it's audible altimeter, so it will just ring in my ear when I'm supposed to do some important stuff, such as opening my parachute. And the third one is inside my rig. So this is my full skydiving rig, and the third altimeter is over there. This little device is my flight computer. Really simple to set up because you just have to press the button 3 times, and this stuff will open my parachute if I'm not able to do it. So yeah, this stuff saves life every day. And oh, it just told me that I'm supposed to change it. Okay, that's fine. What is skydiving? Okay, I'm sorry.
So wait, first question, how does the altimeter know at which height it is?
Yeah, okay, that's a really good question. It's based on the air pressure, and I just started it, and when I start it, it measures the air pressure and set it as the 0. And then when you climb to altitude, the air pressure is reduced by the altitude. So it can measure the altitude really easily with that. And this altimeter open the reserve automatically when you're above or below, under 300 meters. But if you are falling with a speed which is more than 30 meters per second, which means roughly that you are still in free fall, you have no canopy under your head, and so it detects that something is wrong. You're not supposed to be too fast, too low. So if you are too fast, too low, this stuff open your reserve for you. Did I answer the question?
Yes, I think so. Thanks.
Cool. So this is my rig. I will try to do that with. So if you don't see anything, tell me. I will move the camera. This is the front side of the rig, and this is the front side of the rig goes in my back. There is the flying computer. There is those stuff which are going around my shoulders. I have 2 handles in the front. The red one is the security handle number 1, which I call the cutaway handle, and it's supposed to free me from my main canopy. So the idea is that if there is any issue with your main canopy, you pull this handle and it will detach you from your main canopy. You go in free fall again, and you pull the second handle, that one, which is the reserve handle, and which is supposed to open your reserve. And yeah, the idea is that you don't want to open your reserve in the middle of your main canopy, because else you will have 2 broken canopy on top of your head, which really sucks. We have 2 leg straps, 1 for each leg, and that's done for the front of the canopy, and for the back. In this stuff, there is 2 canopy. I have 1 on the top and 1 on the bottom in 2 separate containers. The one on the one which is on the top is the reserve one. So this stuff will save my life. This reserve is packed by a professional packer each year and checked each year, and you're not supposed to use it a lot. I mean, I never use my reserve. Actually, I don't know if there is something, just that stuff, perhaps perhaps there is nothing. No. And this is the main container. It contains the main canopy. And this is the stuff I'm opening at each jump, and I'm packing by myself at each jump. Both canopy have a different opening method. And I will start by the details of the opening of the reserve. So can you see that stuff? Okay. Can you see the pin? There is a pin here, metal pin, and a small white loop. If we pull on the pin, the small white loop will be freed, and this will allow the opening of the container, which is packed under pressure with a big spring. So the spring will expand. This stuff will go out of the bag, and then go inside the wind and inflate. And on the other side of this metal cable, we have metal handle of the reserve. Can you see it? Oh, it's not. This is the metal handle which I'm supposed to pull to open the reserve. So when I'm pulling this metal handle, it pulls on this metal cable, which pulls on this small pin, and it opens the reserve. Okay. And automatic device is inside the reserve container and just cut the white loop I showed you previously. And about the second, the main container, which is the one I'm opening every day, that's the same idea. It's a metal pin, a small white loop, but instead of being pulled by the metal cable, it's pulled by what we call a pilot chute, which is a small parachute, which is here. This white handle. I will pull this white handle, and there is up a small parachute which will take the wind, go to the sky, and pull on a long cable. This long cable will go up to the pin, continue pulling, will pull up, and my container is now open. And it will continue pulling, it will pull, and in this bag, there is my canopy. And it will continue to pull up, and progressively, as you can see, I'm not sure you can see, but I hope so. All the lines of the canopy are attached by rubber band to the bag, and this closes the bag. So progressively, stuff will be pulled. Yeah, it's very difficult. This talk is really easy when people are all around you, but on top of a camera, it's very difficult. So it's pulled on the rubber band, and which will slowly release all the lines. And at the last rubber band, the canopy will get out of the bag, which will happen right now. And this is a canopy, okay? My canopy is huge. I mean, it's something like 17 square meters. So yeah, it's something really huge. So I think it's bigger than the room on which I'm in. So I won't be able to show you the canopy in a fully inflated state. So instead, I will show you a picture, and I think it will be better. So back to screen sharing. And I think I have a picture. Yeah, I have a picture of a canopy. So that one is fully inflated. Actually, it's for the landing process. So you can see on the top, the blue things is the canopy. And it's connected to...
There's a question, Guillaume.
Yes?
There's a question.
How long will it take you to pack this thing again?
Something like between 7 minutes and 15 minutes, depending on, yeah, or I'm motivated to do that.
Even the white button.
Yeah. To give you an idea, I'm not a fast packer, but the guy who's packing the French skydiving team is able to pack 4 canopy in 15 minutes. Because each 15 minutes, the French skydiving team is landing, taking a new set of canopy, climbing in a new plane, climbing to altitude, doing a jump, and so on. So each 50 minutes, the packer must be able to pack 4 canopies. So yeah, that's fine. All right, for a question? So I'll continue on.
Sorry, a question. Why there's an auxiliary canopy when you want to open your main canopy?
Why there is a second canopy?
No, the small one. Why there exists such a small?
Yeah, the idea of the small one is that it helps it will the small one you put it in a relative wind, and it will go really far away from you, and it will pull on the deployment bag, the small bag which was containing the canopy, and then it will pull everything and pull your canopy away from you, and create tension in the line, and the canopy will open far away from it. I think I can show you a video of an opening, and you will see the process.
I think really the question is, why can't it work the same way that the first canopy works, like with a spring?
Okay, because actually the spring on the reserve canopy just open the container and push the small canopy outside, which will then pull the big canopy outside. So roughly, that's exactly the same thing, except that for the main canopy, you have the handle is on your small canopy. Yeah, okay, let me show you that again. We'll stop the screen sharing. Okay, this is my small canopy, the really small device, which is called the pilot chute. And this is the opening handle. I will pull that stuff and throw it away, and then it will pull on the long line and open my container and pull my main canopy out. For the reserve canopy, that's a bit different. It's the small pilot chute is like that, but with a spring. When you pull on the reserve handle, the spring will push this out of the main container and then slowly pull on the line and pull the reserve container, so the reserve canopy. So that's exactly the same thing. Once you pull one handle or the other, that's exactly the same thing, except that for the main canopy, you pull the small canopy out of the container, and for the reserve canopy, it's a spring which push it out the container.
So the reserve is for a situation of emergency, because you need to open it faster.
Yes.
The springs.
Yes, and also so the spring is more efficient. Works well because it's pull the stuff really quickly outside of the container. But on the other end, the spring is really difficult to pack, and that's why a professional packer will take something like 1 hour and 1 hour and a half to pack a reserve canopy. On the other end, I'm not a professional at all, and I'm packing my main canopy in 7 minutes. So yeah, that's trade-off. The reserve is supposed to open, whatever happens, it should open correctly and fast. So that's why there is a spring. On the other end, the main canopy, we don't really care about it. It should be easy to pack, easy to use, and that's all. So yeah, that's different trade-off. Because on your reserve, if you...
Guillaume, can you also jump just with one big canopy, or let's say you just have the unpacked thing and you jump out of the plane?
You mean you want to jump with your canopy in your hand and jump? Yeah, it's possible. We are not doing that most of the time, but some people have done that, and it's totally possible.
Yeah, Mary Poppins does that, but you're not Mary Poppins.
But you need to be smart, because if you throw your canopy in front of you and the wind of the plane just put it back in your face, you will then be wrapped by a canopy, and it's not a nice way to die. And that's why we have all this stuff with the deployment bag, all the rubber band I previously showed. The idea is that you want your canopy to open really far away from you to avoid any kind of entanglement, and what I call that being wrapped in arm. And yeah, I don't want to be wrapped in arm. So I wanted to show you an opening sequence in slow motion. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And so that's from a wingsuit, and you see first the wingsuiter will throw away the pilot chute. It's up. You see the small canopy, the pilot chute inflate, and it will start to pull. it pulls the deployment bag, which slowly releases all the rubber band. And now the canopy is released, but far away from the pilot. It slowly inflates. And you will see there is a small rectangle of fabric which will which is now on top of the line and which will go on down the line. You will see that right now in a few seconds. Yeah, this stuff, which the purple stuff, which was on top, which is now on the bottom, and slide along the line. It's called a slider. And the idea is that this stuff is slowing the opening process, slowing down the opening process. Because if you do not have this piece of fabric, instead of taking like 2 seconds, I will show you the opening process at true speed. Yeah, so it's fast, but let's go. Woohoo! Up. Okay, this is a normal opening process. So it takes something like 3 seconds. Without the piece of fabric, it will take half a second. And it means that you slow down from 200 kilometers to 0 in half a second. And most of the time, it means that you're broke inside. And you want to avoid that. So, yep. Now I think I'm done with the main canopy. Yep. And I will show you something really interesting, is that after the opening, I'm supposed to be, yeah, this is my harness here. Can you see something? Yes, I think you see something. And this stuff, this yellow stuff, are the flying toggle. The stuff are the brake, so I can pull on it, and I have a left toggle and a right toggle. And when I'm pulling on it, my canopy is going to the left or to the right, which is a really nice thing. And we'll stop a bit of time on one of the most interesting devices in skydiving engineering, which is this. Can you see the 3-ring system? Okay. Yes, you see one ring, a second ring here, a third ring, which is over there. Can you see those 3 rings? Mm-hmm. Okay, and there is those 3 rings, a yellow cable, and a small white piece of fabric. And the idea is this device allows you you to be separated from your to cut away your main canopy in case of emergency. So I will just show you the process. The idea is that when I'm pulling the emergency handle with one hand, it's not really easy. Up. I'm pulling the emergency handle. Up. It will release on the 3-ring system. Sorry, it's really difficult to focus the camera on the right place. Yes, it will slowly release. The yellow cable was there. It's not here anymore. This stuff will move like that, and another ring will pass, and then it's free. Which means that now I have my canopy from on one side of the room. Up. So my canopy is over there, and my rig is there. So I'm back in free fall. It's a good news. This device, the 3-ring system I just showed you, is something I really like about when on an engineering standpoint, because it's a really simple device. It's just 3-ring. I can show you an animation of Wikipedia, which is.
Do you have the same for your emergency parachute?
No, you cannot cut away the emergency one.
Why not?
Because you have, yeah, once it's done.
But why would you want to release the canopy?
Okay, if you open your reserve canopy and you are still connected to the main one, the reserve canopy will inflate in the main canopy, And instead of having a perfectly good canopy on top of your head, you just have the two pieces of shit, and it's not flying at all.
So why doesn't, if you release the emergency canopy, does it automatically release the other one?
If you release the main canopy, it exists systems that release open the release, the reserve one at the same time, and there is a trade-off. It complicates the rig because you have more cable and it's more complex, but it saves life. So it's a trade-off between something more complex, so it's more complex to maintain and more complex to check, and having something which may save you in some situations. So it's a trade-off.
I have another question, Guillaume.
Yep.
How much, or how does it depend on the weight of the jumper, actually, the rig?
What?
How does your canopy size, for example, and
okay. We are interested in what is called the wing loading. So it's the weight divided by the canopy surface area. And if your wing loading is high, you will land really fastly in a fast way. And if you have a low wing loading, it will be more smooth. So depending on your experience, it's you may have a smaller canopy. And actually, I think it's one of the rare fields of the world or where people want something smaller and bigger. So yeah, most really skilled people have really small canopies. Depending on your weight, you will have something bigger. So for example, with my experience, I have a 17 square meter canopy, but for example, someone of 30 kilogram less may have a smaller canopy.
And so if I get it correctly, actually the real thing is the free fall period, right?
No. In skydive, there is many disciplines, and we care about the free fall, but we also care about the canopy piloting.
Okay. And so can you do with your canopy, can you do, I don't know, some tricks? Like salto or something, I don't know.
The canopy we have in skydive are not really good canopy compared to the one you may have in free diving or stuff like that. But we can do some trick with it, and actually I may also show you a video about that. I think I will tell you some other stuff about the gear later, but I will show you some videos about what are the skydiving disciplines. So one discipline I really like is canopy crew canopy control, which is canopy relative work. I don't know why I cannot and if it does not work, like that, yeah, better. Okay, can you see the 4 canopy information?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so the idea of this sport is to play with your friend and stack together nicely. So this discipline is everything you're told not to do when you start skydiving. I mean, you're not supposed to fly close to your friend. You're not supposed to put your feet inside the lines. But yeah, it's fun, so why not? Okay, another
Thing or
yes.
really do it like 100 times.
So what are they doing? So how do they descend, for example?
How do they descend? They pull on some of the lines, which change the shape of the canopy, and
But they cannot do it just by moving their body, for example.
If they move their body, they may be able to pull on the harness. So you can do that by just pulling on moving a leg. It pull on the harness, and it will change something. So you can fly with the rest of your body, but most of the time stuff are done with your arm by pulling on the lines. And yeah, and the aim of this discipline is to do as many permutations as possible in a limited amount of time. So this is precision landing. So it's another discipline and the idea is to land on a target. And I'm not sure you can see the target, but the idea is that the target is as wide as a €2 coin. So if you miss a €2 coin, you miss the competition. And yeah, this guy is totally missed it, actually. There is another discipline which is called swooping, still under canopy, and the idea is to land as fast as possible. Oh, sorry.
Define the constraints.
Yeah, and as fast as possible, alive and in the defined area.
Yeah, but how many broken bones are allowed and stuff like that?
0.
0, okay. Bruises or anything? I mean...
Yeah, no, 0. You're supposed to be perfectly alive and perfectly fine, and you're supposed to be able to re-jump. Because there is a motto in skydive: the best jump of your life will be the next one. So that's all for the discipline under canopy. So then we have disciplines in free fall. So I will show you a video of my work during the French championships. And I choose this video because yeah, we did something wrong. So you will see that's funny. So we are at the door of the plane, and when we leave the plane, we have 35 seconds to do as most repetition as possible. And yeah, as you can see, something went wrong. And then we are back in the game right now. And then, okay, it starts. First point, second point, third point, fourth one, up, 5. And it was a sequence of 5 points. So now we start it again. And first point, and second point. And at the end of the sequence, you will see something, it's another part of the jump, which is the separation. Because when we are falling like that, we are friends. We'd like to fall together and play together. But we don't like to be together when it's time to open your canopy, because you don't want to have any interference with other people's canopy. So at the end of the jump, we are doing the separation, and it will happen soon, I think. Yep. Bye-bye. Yeah. And the idea is that we have something like 200 meters to put as many distance as possible to with our friends. So yeah.
Distance you just push on each other's, or?
No. Everything is done thanks to the drag. So if you straighten your leg, you will have more drag on your leg, and this may give you yeah. There is a flying position, and if you want to go forward, you straighten your leg, and if you want to go backward, you straighten your arm, and if you want to go on the side, you push your arm on one side or another side, and so on.
So Guillaume, I have another question which might sound a little bit weird.
Yes, go.
So I read a few stories that you have a certain chance, even without a parachute, to land and to survive.
Yes.
So, yeah, can you elaborate?
Yeah. Okay, I can elaborate on that. First thing, there is a scientific publication which and they try to see if there is an improvement of the chance of surviving with a canopy or without a canopy, and the conclusion was that the canopy do not change anything about your chance of survival, but they only tried to jump from 1 meter from the ground. So yeah. In the scientific publications, they discuss the fact that there may be something wrong in their methodology. Yeah, I can discuss that. If you hit the ground like that, you will hit the ground at 200 kilometers per second, per hour, sorry. And there is roughly no chance of survival. But if you hit some trees, or if you hit the snow on a really steep mountain or something like that, you may have some chance of survival. But
so is 200 kilometers per hour, is that the minimum that you can achieve without
the maximum?
Yes, but what is, I mean, by changing your position in the air, you can change your speed, right?
Yes, if you go head down or heads up, or you can go at 300 kilometers per hour, or so you can even go faster with some special techniques and a really fast skydiving suit. Or you can go a bit slower than that if you have a wingsuit, for example. So for example, a normal jump, I'm in the air for 1 minute, and with my wingsuit, I'm flying for 3 minutes. So it means that roughly I'm going 3 times slower with my wingsuit.
But so what you said, the 200 kilometers per hour, that's kind of the minimum minimum speed that you will attain, and that's the equilibrium that you reach at. Minimum equilibrium.
That's an equilibrium. Someone my size with that suit and in a specific position will reach. So if I change my suit, or if I change myself, or if I change my position, I can go faster and slower.
Yeah. Yes, but what is the slowest without a special suit?
Without a special suit, so without a wingsuit, I think it will be 170, something like that. I try to measure next time. I'll try to measure, and I will give you the value. So, but it also highly depends on your body initially. All right.
Yeah.
I have other discipline to show.
Excuse him, he's a physicist.
Sorry?
Excuse him, he's a physicist.
Yeah, nobody's perfect.
By the way, water won't make it better.
So I wanted to show you what free fly is. So free fly is a discipline where you fly, but not you fly in any position. So it looks like that.
Are you here? 40 meters. Yes. How fast are you then?
Sorry?
Like Dubai.
Yeah. Those people are the French, and they have the world. They are the world champion, so it's nice. And I have no idea how to do that. Okay, to be honest, that's really, really difficult.
What is filming them?
Sorry?
What is filming them?
Another guy.
Okay.
And actually he's part of the team, which is something really nice because
they just throw a camera.
yeah. There are some projects of autonomous camera to film skydivers, but it does not really work. And actually, in this discipline, I really like the fact that the cameraman is part of the team, and it's his job to do some nice transition and nice point of view and so on. In my discipline here, the cameraman is not part of the team. It's a friend, but actually we are paying him. And if we win, he's not with us on he does not get any medal. And if we lose, he don't care. He's just here to film, and he's just here to have us in focus, and that's all. In free fly, the performance of the cameraman is taken into account in the final note. So. And another discipline that I like, it's all the big what's called the big way. The idea of big way is that you do everything as usual, but with a lot of friends. So Yeah, I've done this jump in Ukraine in August last year, and we were 100 people. And well,
they have bombs and they explode.
and here the idea is first to do formation, and then, if possible, to do some points. So it means that we will break the formation and do another formation and so on. And the trigger is over there. I'm here. Yeah. And I'm really happy with that jump because I wanted to do a 100 way since a long time, and I was able to do try to do an attempt 4 years ago. It was not a success, and this one is a success. So I'm really happy.
Is it possible for the parachutes of all these people to be tangled together when they are such a distance, such a close distance?
Yeah, we are not supposed to open in this position. So you will see there is a really complex break. Yeah, the break is starting now, so people are trying to go really far away. But yeah, if we open at the same time, you will have one impact of 100 people tangled together.
I have a question. What if the person in the center opens her chutes, then the person around, then the person around? It means that you will have like a pyramid of people, and the chutes technically not hit other people. Is that
yes?
true?
Yeah, you're right, except for one thing, which is that most canopy do not open at the same speed. Do not open. Yeah, they open differently, so it will suck. Okay, and if you have any emergency, if, for example, the first guy have an emergency, he will cut away his canopy and then restart falling, and he will fall on the second guy, so they will both have an emergency, and so they will do something, and they will fall on the third guy, and so on. So again, you will have 100 body in a bag at the end of the day.
How can you move faster in the air with or without the canopy deployed?
Faster without my canopy.
Okay, so laterally, I mean moving laterally.
Yeah, I can move faster. However, I will lose more altitude without the canopy. So yeah, I have a better glide ratio with the canopy open. So I mean, with the canopy open, I can go farther away, but I will be much faster with the canopy. But I may show you something else. XRW. This is another nice display. I don't know why my browser does not work anymore. So yeah, I'm not able to. Yeah,
can you do a kind of a stall maneuver? I remember this from Flight Simulator.
Yes, yeah, you can do that. It's really funny. I like to do it, and most of the time your canopy just collapse, and then it inflates again.
Okay, but without the canopy you cannot do it. It takes lots of speed.
Okay.
And then you go kind of up.
With a normal suit, you cannot do that. But with a jumpsuit such as a wingsuit, it's possible. And it was not possible 5 or 10 years ago. But since a few years, the wingsuits are so powerful, and now it's look like a real airplane, and they are so powerful that people are able to climb up a bit. So they take a lot of speed, and then they brake, and they're able to climb again a bit, and then continue their fall.
And Guillaume, so how relaxed are you during these jumps? Can you, I mean, are you concentrated all the time, or can you kind of
okay, it depends on the jump and on the experience. I was stressed, a lot stressed for my for the first 100th jump I've done. It was really stressful. Now I'm really, I'm not stressed at all on normal jump. I mean, but on the 100 people jump I've done in August, it was really stressful. It was funny because it was a really long plane. I was at the back of the plane. well, technically at the front of the plane, but at the back of the group. And at the front of the plane, there was a light, a green, red light, and we were all watching on the red light, and I was really afraid. And then the light turned green, and we were supposed to to run in the plane and jump. And yeah, I was really afraid, but it was funny. So yeah.
Is there a safety mechanism? So if you even pass out in the sky, the parachutes will still operate automatically?
No, the parachute won't bring you home. I mean, it won't land you somewhere nice, but it will at least open thanks to the computer device, which is here. This stuff open the reserve if you do not open it by yourself on time.
Ah.
And you don't have to steer it, so you don't have to course correct it when it's open?
No, it opened the reserve. That's all.
But you don't have to steer, like it won't fold in on itself if you don't steer it.
It will fly its way, and if you're lucky, you will land in a field somewhere. If you're not lucky, you will hit the ground, or you will land on a tree, or you will land on the autoroute or something like that.
Against the wall.
Yeah, I have for my 27th jump, I got unconscious and I landed on the highway.
On the highway?
You landed in the highway?
Yes.
That's fun.
Yeah, but yeah, I was lucky and nobody hit me, and yeah.
How many jumps have you done so far? Because you said 100 jumps, so.
Logbook said, this is my logbook. All of my jumps are in this book. This is my second logbook. The first one is full, and I've done 723 jumps.
In how many years?
I started. It's easy because my first child is born the same year, so 2013.
Oh, okay. So you're doing. So when you jump a day, then you do a few jumps, right? So
yeah, the most jump I've done in one day. It was 12 jump in one day. 12. Yeah. The world record of the biggest number of jump in one day is totally crazy. It's something like 700 jumps. But the guy was helped by a team of 20 people, which were packing, gearing him up. There was a lot of planes, so he was climbing on the plane, climbing to something like 300 meters, exiting the plane, opening, landing, and he was running, climbing on another plane. Someone was gearing him up in the plane, checking his gear in the plane and jumping again. And he was forced to stop after something like 22 hours of continuous jumping because he was so exhausted that they had to put him under oxygen, and he decided to stop before
Was it a Frenchman?
No. And I wanted to tell you some. No, I think I've said most of the things I wanted to say. So yeah.
I can ask a question. Are you interested in other like parachuting like sports, like in base jumping or in wingsuiting or anything, or is this like other people?
Yep. Wingsuiting. I'm jumping with a wingsuit, but from a plane. So wingsuit is just a suit you can use from a plane or from or in base jump. So from a plane, I'm doing wingsuit since 4 years. And I think I have something like 150 jumps with my wingsuit. And base jumping, it's really interesting actually. However, I'm not. I do not agree with the risk of this sport. So I don't want to risk my life. But yeah, if stuff were different, I mean, I have a wife and 2 kids. If stuff were different, base jumping may be really interesting. But yeah, I think it's too dangerous. If we speak about a bit about mortality and statistics, in skydiving, there is approximately one emergency procedure. So I mean, opening the reserve every 2,000 jump, and one dramatic, I mean, fatal or totally broken people, dramatic accident every 100,000 jumps. This is the skydive statistics, approximately. In base jump, there is roughly one death each 1,000 and something jumps. So yeah. So yeah, it's more dangerous. So yeah, I don't really want to do that. Yep. And yeah, I wanted to say something else about the security procedure. Everything is checked, and rechecked on each jump, and there is no easy jump or no jump where you're doing stuff yeah, randomly. I mean, I'm checking my gear when I'm going to the skydive center. I'm checking my gear each time I'm putting my gear on myself. Someone is checking my gear when I'm landing. I'm climbing in the plane. Inside the plane, I'm checking my gear 2 times. One time at mid-climb and one time before exiting the plane. And yeah, so technically, we are not supposed to have any issue related to the gear because everything is checked a lot. And when we look at the statistics, virtually there is no one killed by the gear. Most people are killed because they are doing stupid stuff, such as high-speed landing or not watching the traffic. So if you do not watch you want to learn, then instead of watching if there are people around you, you do stupid things and you may hit people. And if you hit someone in the sky at 100 meters, the canopy will collapse and you will go to the floor. Yeah, people are killed in free fall because they go too fast. They are not, and they hit other people. But there is no issue involving the gear in skydive. When I say no, it's not a fully perfect no. I mean, it happened, but most of the time people do not die because of the gear.
And do you hit a bird or something like this? Does that ever happen?
Yeah, there is stories like that, but yeah, it's not. It does not happen a lot. I mean, I saw a story of one guy being attacked by an eagle. He was on the canopy, and the eagle attacked him and was stuck in the lines. And so he had to do an emergency procedure because his canopy was not flying anymore because an eagle was stuck in the line. Yeah, stuff happens sometimes, but that's not the stuff for this kind of stuff.
Landed safely.
Sorry?
At least the eagle landed safely.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't really know.
What about paragliding? Or is it not enough adrenaline for you?
To be honest, it's not a problem of adrenaline because, and that's why a lot of people are stopping skydiving after 100 or 200 jumps. It's because the adrenaline part totally disappear, and it's become just a sport where you need to focus on your technique. Yeah, you need to learn your formation and focus on the technique. So, so this is one part of the answer, and the other part, paragliding is something totally different. So yeah, why not? I like flying, so yeah, perhaps one day I will do something different. One of the biggest advantage of skydiving is that there is a skydive center close to any city. I can go to the skydive center with my bike in 20 minutes. I can go and work at the skydive center. I mean, it moves because my office is moving, because my laptop is my office. So yeah, I can go to the skydive center, do my full day of work, and do 3 jumps, and it's fine. This is not the kind of stuff you can do with paragliding because you need to go to the mountain and so on. And so yeah, skydiving is easier to, it's one which is easier to do actually compared to paragliding.
And are there risks you're taking? Like, I mean, you can probably skydive safely, or you can risk something and have maybe more fun. I'm just wondering, because in climbing you have a similar issue, right?
Yeah, I mean, each stuff, the safest jump is the jump where you're exiting the plane alone and jumping alone and doing nothing. And each time you add some exercise during the jump, people doing the jump, different gears, you add some complexity, so you add some risk. So for example, the jump with 100 people you saw was obviously more dangerous than a jump with 4 people. But it's more exciting. So it's really, really more exciting, and it's not that many more dangerous if you do the stuff right. Yeah. But for example, I can show you another something totally stupid I've done. I don't know why my browser does not work anymore. And I've done a jump which is called a Mr. Bill, and it's really a stupid jump. But I've done that for my birthday when I was 30 years old, and let me just find the video.
Your best birthday or your last birthday?
Sorry?
Either your best or your last birthday?
It was my best birthday jump. So yeah, I need to share the screen again. Up, 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 up. Okay, and this is my friend. You can see my hand, but the guy you're seeing on the video is my friend. And the idea of the Mr. Bill is that we will exit the plane, and he will open his parachute, and I will still I'm still grabbing him. So yeah, we'll see what's happening. So he's opening the parachute, and up here. Okay, and I'm grabbing him. Yeah, for information, I'm having my parachute, but yeah, this jump is really dangerous because yes, anything can happen. We can get trapped together and so on. So yeah, so I've done that for my birthday, and yeah, and after that I will just let go and go back in free fall.
Cool. And the last question in that direction, like, did you ever take any risks you regret taking? Like, did you ever have the feeling, oh, okay, that maybe was not a good idea?
This jump was stupid.
Okay.
For example, you can see something which really sucks here, and I still have nightmare about that. Here, the pilot chute was on the right side of my friend for 2 seconds, and the pilot chute was close to pass under me and wrap itself around us. So yeah, it was stupid and poorly executed. I've done a night jump. Night jump are really nice, except when you miss the landing area, which I did, and I had to land in a field during the night without any light, and I have no idea what was under my feet. So I just wait for the ground, and hopefully it was a nice field, but it may have been some streets, some trees, electric stuff. Yeah. So this one was dangerous. I've done an helicopter jump for which I was unprepared, and it was really fine for me, except I was unprepared, and I realized later it was stupid when done without any information. And I realized that when some other people get stuck, when you do an helicopter jump, the funny thing is to grab yourself on the leg of the helicopter and just let go like that. But to do that, you have to climb down from the helicopter cell to the leg of the helicopter. And when doing that, you can remember the handle which are in front of you, this stuff, which is my reserve handle. And this stuff can get caught in anything, and it may open your reserve aside the helicopter, and the reserve can end in the helicopter blade, and everybody will die. and we were not briefed about that. And it happened to one friend who had the chance that is reserved open and he fall at the same time, and so stuff ends pretty nicely. But yeah, it is stupid if it's not done without preparation and training. And so the question I'm always having when I'm doing a jump is, am I prepared? Do I know what I need to know? And are other people prepared too? And for example, I abandoned a jump. I was supposed to do a jump with 20 people at the end of this year with some friends. And when I was at the briefing of the jump, I realized that most people were beginner without training, and that the organizer was not giving enough information. So I decided to not be part of the jump. And actually, the jump was really it was a bad jump, and it was a dangerous jump, and everybody landed safely. But it may have been a nightmare because all the beginners tried to reach the formation really quickly because they were afraid of being late, and 20 beginners were converging to the same point without any control, and so people were hit themselves everywhere. It was a really it was a nightmare, and but I was not part of that, so I'm happy.
I think we are running out of time. In fact, 4 minutes late. So okay. Let's thank Guillaume for this very interesting talk.
Thank you again.
Thanks, Guillaume.
Thanks. See you next time.
See you.
Cool.